Okay. Here we go. Waiting for Wendy. Waiting for Wendy. Yeah. She's being called there. Let's just check the text. I just got one. Is that her, maybe?
All right.
No, that's Eric Van Skyhawk being very nice. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Kim was embarrassed by this photo. You can't see it, but the one where she's looking at the baby crying. I'm like, honey, that's an awesome picture. Like, just look at her. That's like the most mom thing you ever saw in your life.
Yeah, totally.
I love it. She should quit.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
She should quit not liking that. Okay. Well, let me text her, I guess. Wendy.
Oh, is it the one you put on Twitter yesterday also?
I did last night.
Yeah, I see that one.
Hey, or maybe I put it this morning. I don't remember. Hi.
Oh, yeah, 1 hour ago. Yes.
You coming? All right.
Feel like therapizing today?
You feel like giving us some therapy? Lay some therapy on me. For whoever asked earlier, yeah, we're gonna. Yes, I'm doing the Frog Pants plays today. Yes, more. We're gonna. I think I'm getting close to finishing that damn thing.
More Soma.
Yeah, that game's scary, dude. In a really disconcerting way, because there's no map, there's no compass, there's no weapons, and the things that come at you are just going to get you if they see you. It's just it's not like at least in Resident Evil, I felt like I had tools. I had a gun. I could turn around and shoot at it. I could try to defend myself. This game doesn't have that, and it's
feeling helpless.
I mean, there is the nice thing is there's big chunks of like, oh, here's a puzzle. I have to think through this one. I don't have to. It's not a scary moment. Like, there's lots of stuff like that. So it's not like constant terror. But then if I've got to go down some dark hallway and that giant walking turd thing we saw on Tuesday is there,
right?
Freaking F that, man. All right, no answer yet. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, now she's typing. I see the little boot, 3 dots. Stall for a second, she says. All right. Stalling.
Okay,
Stalling for a second.
Call us Joseph, because we're stalling.
Yeah. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let's check in on the baby while we're here. How is everyone doing over there? See if we get an answer. Man, I wish we would have had cool camera stuff like this when I was having kids. They're like documenting this thing in like amazing photo quality.
Totally, yeah. It's a different world with how much of our lives we can document.
Yes, but even also just making it look good, you know, like
right,
not poopy and crappy, and having to wait a week for some place to develop your freaking film. Yeah, nobody wants that. So that was a cute one. Chat room, look at that one yesterday.
Kind of miss the old days with the photo mat you drive up to in the parking lot of the grocery store and drop off your thing, and then a week later you'd have to come pick it up.
Yep. And then Robin Williams would take your film and look at it.
He'd look at it in the privacy of his own home.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, dude, I am still sore from.
I'll bet you are. You should be.
The front of my thighs, my lower back.
Didn't hurt your coccyx, I hope.
No, coccyx is fine. Fine.
Did you stretch a lot and stuff before?
No,
you should have done that. Yeah.
A little bit, but not nearly enough.
That's how I throw my back out. I got to stretch before.
Yeah, stretching.
Stretching's for jerks.
What the hell?
Yeah, who stretches? No one stretches. All right, well, Wendy, where are you? Gosh dang it. Okay, how about now? I'll say. How about now?
How about now?
Right about now. The Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. What's that guy doing? What's cool?
Fatboy Slim?
Fatboy Slim. Is he still doing music?
He's producing, but I don't know. I don't know about any releases of his own. Norman Cook, who was a member of the House Martins with a lot of members of the Beautiful South.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing these days. What's he doing?
I like Fatboy Slim.
Yeah, I do too.
He's a cool dude with some. What? Alexa, stop! I wasn't talking to you.
Nothing since Glastonbury 2016 when he played the John Peel stage.
Oh, Glastonbury's a place.
Wow, he's okay. I knew about Norman Cook. I knew about Fatboy Slim. He's also gone by the names Arthur Chubb, Asher D. Slim, Biggie Slims, Cheeky Boy, Chemistry, Cook DeBass, Disc Attack, DJ D-Light.
Really? Oh, there's Wendy. Hi.
Tons of these, yeah.
That's crazy names. Hello, how are you?
Good.
How are you
guys?
Are you frozen?
I am not frozen.
Oh.
Good.
I mean, it's frozen, but I'm not. Yeah. I'm good.
You're good?
You're staying inside where it's nice and
toasty.
Toasty, very good.
Yeah. I have not left the house in 36 hours.
Are you feeling claustrophobic at all, or a little cave? What's it called? Cave anxiety?
Cabin fever. Yeah. A little bit because they cancel school, so the kids have been home for 4 days, and we're running out of snacks. So.
Oh no.
That's not good.
How long before you guys all start, eating each other?
Yeah.
There's a few dead squirrels frozen outside. We just go get one of those.
Oh man.
No, it's not as bad as it is. I mean, it's cold, but if you live somewhere like this, you've been building up to this too. Like this isn't like going from California to this,
Right. I don't know why I called it cave anxiety. By the way, I knew it was cabin fever. It just came out wrong.
I like cave anxiety. That's great.
Cave anxiety's got the cave anxiety.
That's right. Well, it's Wendy, now a great aunt. I guess you were already a great aunt.
I know. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
It was fine. Everything went great. They everything went by the numbers. No issues, no problems, no hiccups. I mean, we were all nervous because that's what you do, but it turns out there was no need to be. Everything was fine.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
The kids and Kim are over there now, probably holding them and take a bunch of pictures, and I'm here working. So there you go. Yeah, he's super cute. But what's weird is, aside from his blue eyes, he looks like he came out of one of our families or yours. Like it looks like a Dunford or a Johnson, like hardcore.
Yeah, Abe saw him and said, "Oh, that's like me as a baby, except I had dark brown sideburns."
Yeah, he totally did. So
really,
So I think the Johnson genes are really kicking on this one. It's a strong throughput, and he's got curly blondish hair, which is very me when I was a baby, and Nick when he was a little kid. So we shall see. I got some more pictures to send you. I'll send you after the show today. Enough about us and about that. Let's play this as a theme to bring Wendy in.
The assumption is porn is woo.
All right, because that's a good one. That's a good one because of today's topic. Turns out.
Woo.
Woo. It's my favorite rapper, Yahoo. He's just killing it these days. So here goes. I'll read this. For those who don't know and you're coming in for the first time, Wendy's an actual therapist. She helps people with real problems all the time, comes on the show and donates some time here to help you with your questions. Oftentimes those come in the form of emails, sometimes posts on the site, and occasionally a live call-in. Today it's an email from an anonymous person. Let's call them Carl Confidential. Their first name's not really Carl. I just like how it sounds. Here you go. Hey, Wendy, Scott, and Brian. I have 2 boys, aged 17 and 15, both of which have had some issues with pornography. My youngest recognized the issue, and he gets drawn in and comes to talk to me about it, and we work through it. Relapses occur, but he seems to be a normal teen working through adolescence. My 17-year-old, however, continues to have issues. When I try to talk to him about it in a supportive manner, he lies to me and tells me that everything is going great until he is caught with evidence to prove the problem. Then I will try to talk to him about it and encourage him to get help from religious leaders or counseling. He doesn't want to do either of those things because he is uncomfortable talking about it. I have pushed and gotten him through the motions, but I think it's just to please me and not to help himself. Typically, he has broken multiple household rules to get around technology aids to limit inappropriate material in the home or limit personal devices in bedrooms to consume the pornography. These rule violations, in addition to his lying to us, make it hard to not want to punish him, for us not to want to punish him. But we also don't want to add to the shame and guilt he may already be feeling. I see some of the signs of addiction through his behavior and interaction with others. I want to help him, but I don't know how to do it if he doesn't want to change. How do I find a counselor for him if he doesn't want to be counseled? What can I do as a parent to help him realize the potential danger he's putting his future self in through future addiction, which could hurt relationships and marriage? He's a great kid, and we just want to help. Please keep our name confidential to ensure the issues are kept confidential. Thanks. So, that's interesting. I mean, we've had plenty of emails and stuff over the years about people dealing with porn issues and stuff. Had a couple of calls about it. But here's a case where you've got the parental unit dealing with a twofer, two kids who struggle with it, but their approaches to it are very different, each kid. So where do you go? Where do you start? What do you want with this one?
Oh, hard.
Yeah, it is a hard one.
You know, I think one of the hardest things about parenting is this. You don't really remember what it's like to be 15 or 17. Like, as much as you think you do. Yeah. Memory works very weirdly, and also our brains change, and experience rewrites a lot of stuff. And so it's really hard to be in their shoes and recognize what's happening, especially because generationally, very different time for a 15, 17-year-old boy with pornography in 2019 than 1982 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's tricky, but the reason I want to start with that is this idea of, when we parent, we know better, right? Like she or he is talking about, they're saying all the right things. Like, hey, I see signs of addiction and I want to help him. And, how do we help him realize the potential danger he's putting his future self in? All of the wisdom that comes from being older, right? And knowing your stuff about this. They sound like they know what they're doing. But, no 17-year-old actually cares that you know any of those things, because what it actually feels like to be 17 or 15 is different, right? So now it's not like we can all just jump in. I wish there was a VR for this. Is there?
I don't know. Is there? There might be.
I don't know.
Just wish there was a what for this?
VR therapy or something for this sort of problem.
VR. Okay, yeah.
There might be. I mean, we'd have to dig around. There might be like.
You meant for the therapy. I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of VR porn.
Oh, there's a lot of VR porn. Yeah, VR porn is hot.
I meant standing in your kid's shoes. Honestly, I think you'd be horrified. When Adam was in grad school in Sweden, somebody had done a project. I can't remember. It wasn't him, but someone else had done a project it was like an empathy builder VR platform. And I know they've used it in people making decisions about refugees. They have them actually sit, put the VR on and sit in a circle with a bunch of refugees in the middle of a camp somewhere and actually experience face to face kind of what is really happening. So it's very powerful. But there was one actually that somebody did where they showed bullying from the perspective of both the kid being bullied and the bullier. And so you're walking around a high school with teenagers, and you're a little shorter if you're the one getting bullied, and they're, the perspective is so interesting. Anyway, point being, maybe there is some version of this out there for parents to remember what it's really like to be a kid. But you're saying, okay, well, how's this even relevant to this kid has a problem? Let's fix it. Let's go for it. And your 15-year-old's doing this the way that is pleasing to you. You wish he didn't struggle, of course, but he is giving you the I'm a good parent feedback, right? Yeah. He's essentially saying, Mom, I trust you, or Dad, I trust you, and I'm going to tell you these things. Yeah. Right. It's got to feel good. The 17-year-old isn't following the handbook. He is not making you feel like a good parent. And I know they're not writing in saying, am I a good parent or not? But at its core, we all wonder about that, or we all worry that we're doing the wrong thing. And so when a kid responds in a way that sort of pushes a few buttons that feel like, oh, see, we're good. Even though it's hard, there's kind of a pat on the back. The 17-year-old is not doing that. He is actually struggling in a way that's not giving you the feedback that would make you feel like you're in control. Even though you feel out of control to some extent, of course, the 15-year-old gives you a sense of power and control in this story, and the 17-year-old is not. Yeah. So why I start with this is because I've spent all morning talking to parents about what they just wish their kid would do. If he would only do this, if she could just blah, 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 or if she would have listened to all the things I've taught her, And it's really important to separate the good parentness from the problem, and recognize like meeting that kid where he actually is 1,000 times more effective if your need to be a good parent is out of the way. So I'm currently projecting all of my clients onto this emailer. Okay. So make that clear.
All right.
Right. And so this idea is a starting platform of what is this about for you? Because it sounds like this family, they're not afraid of pornography, and they're not, their heads aren't in the sand, and they're not, blah, blah, blah. They're coming from an educated place about it, and they are doing all the right things. The problem is the 17-year-old's not responding in a way that's helpful.
Right. Well, and do we know, was there further information that helped identify that this is an addiction and not just normal 17-year-old curious about the opposite sex?
Well, other than this email, we don't have anything, but he did say, or he or she, I guess there's no, I don't know if this is the mom or the dad, but it says that they're, let's see, the sort of constant breaking or saying I'm not doing it, and then breaking constant household rules to get around the tech limits they put in the house to get more of it.
Right, which is still, still doesn't say addiction to me as much as it says, no, I'm really curious about boobs. I want to see boobs. And
yeah, but
it's an addiction if he's come and said, I'm really trying not to be interested in this stuff, and I'm having a hard time not being interested in this stuff. But
I don't know. Like, think of drugs. Do people with drugs go, I'm having a hard time not wanting these, but I'm still going to take them?
Drugs are an identifiable, like, okay, yeah, you're doing drugs, that's a bad thing. You're doing any kind of drugs. But I feel like there's, at 17, there's a level of, this is just something they kind of work through and they get through, and then they're done with it. They're curious about the opposite sex. They figure it all out, and you just kind of let them do that. And if you put a block on it, if you put technological hurdles in the way, or religious hurdles in the way, or punishment hurdles in the way, it probably makes them want to circumvent those things more and consider it a taboo that they try and get to.
Yeah, is this like, has this kid turned it into now, well, this is the thing I'm going to rebel and do? That's a really good point. Right. Like, how do you know?
And the 15-year-old, right, the 15-year-old's in agreement with the parents a bit, like, this isn't good. So I'm going to really try not to, and I'll talk to you if I have a problem, kind of thing.
Sure, sure.
And whereas the 17-year-old he's on a different track here. That's a great question, Brian. My assumption is and I think your point's a good one. That second paragraph gives us some hints that what things feel like a addiction, especially when you're a parent and you're worried, is that they are lying, right? Mm-hmm. Sure. And that they're going around your rules. But if it wasn't pornography or a substance, and it was just sneaking out to see a friend you told them they couldn't hang out with, or some other version of things, I'm not sure we would call it addiction. We would just say, this kid's a liar and a pain in the butt, and he doesn't follow the rules.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. And so what's happened here is whether it's addictive or not, addiction for him or not, there is this dynamic of where this kid runs straight into saying what he thinks these people want. So, for example, when I tried to talk to him about it in a supportive manner, notice I'm a good parent here, right? I'm a good parent doing this in a supportive manner. He lies to me that everything is going great. So you have a kid who's saying everything is going great, and then you catch him. And so essentially what we've created is a feedback loop where lying is a great option for this kid. And this is where we sort of we have one idea about how to parent, and it's really hard to throw in other ideas because it's working with one kid, right? That's the sucky thing about having more than one kid, is suddenly like everything you think you know because it worked with that kid.
It worked with the first kid, sure.
Yeah. Exactly. So so he doesn't want to talk about it. He's breaking these rules. He's doing all these different things. In essence, the relationship between he and his parents, sort of the trust, is in jeopardy, and then pornography is the subject. The hard thing from the parents' perspective, it sounds like pornography is the whole point, it's a whole problem. Whereas it's bigger than that, and maybe it isn't as much about pornography as about this kid doesn't have very much freedom, and he maybe needs a little more. And that sounds crazy and counterintuitive. I hear you. You're like, wait, what? more freedom. But essentially, he's been set up to continually lie about this thing. He's choosing to lie, don't get me wrong, but the setup probably repeats itself of, okay, well, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, well, we'll trust you, but we don't really trust you. And then we're going to catch you. And now you're going to have to lie and scramble. And then you don't want to talk about it anymore. So the shame isn't simply from pornography. And that's what I'm trying to get at. Today is opposite day, by the way. Do you guys know that?
No. Is it? Is it officially recognized as such? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
You couldn't give him more rope instead of cutting down the rope.
Sure.
Yeah, 1964. Yeah. And so maybe you can throw this advice in the garbage, listener. It's totally up to you. But I have been making a concerted effort. This is so dumb. Like I ever pay attention to what day it is. But today, maybe because I'm stranded in my house for 4 days, but I'm trying to do everything the opposite or think about things the opposite. Like, if I'm stuck in something, try to do the opposite. In fact, a great little tutorial on how to do this is to watch the Seinfeld episode called The Opposite.
Yeah.
Where George Costanza, instead of following his instincts, he always does the opposite and his life works out.
Right, yes.
And it's funny, but it's so true, especially if you feel like you're in a rut. So here is my suggestion to this family, is that you got your eye on this pornography as a potential threat to your kid. You are saying and doing the right things in so many ways. Like, this is not, no alarm bells need to go off to get you alerted to this, right? You're already probably too alert. So what is the opposite? And think of what it's getting us. And it's getting us a kid who feels shamed and is lying and hiding, which smells like addictive behavior. But it might be that the approach that works for one kid and that you're applying to this kid is actually creating some of this cycling inadvertently. Of course, that's not your intention. But what would be the opposite? So I'm going to ask you two, as parents, have you ever done this, by the way? Just done the opposite of what your intuition tells you to do?
All the time.
Or, flipped something and that it worked out much better, or specifically with parenting.
Boy, you got like going against your intuition and then having it turn out better than it would have if you didn't.
Yeah.
Trying to think of a specific. I can't think of a specific. I'm sure there's
I know
one.
that there were times that, we did that with Tristan where we kind of went against what we wanted to do as parents and said, all right, let's let this play out, as opposed to getting involved and kind of see where it goes and see.
I know one.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of it. When Taylor wanted to get a tattoo at 14, 15, whatever it was. And we were like, my instinct was like, not while you're living under my roof. Like all of the instincts kicked in. But instead we sat her down and said, all right, well, here's the deal. If you're going to do that, you probably should know everything you can about what it means to get one, where you should get them, where the clean places are, how permanent it is, what it costs, and what it feels like to get it removed if you ever decide to. Like, just super educator. If it's a dirty needle, you're going to have, potential all kinds of awful infections and issues. If you go somewhere reputable, you're going to pay a lot more. You're going to probably want one of us to go with you just to make sure everything's on the up and up. Like, we just
make sure it's something you think you're going to like for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that was the other thing we talked about. We talked about permanence, and it wasn't going to go away.
Just get a Harry Styles tattoo on your face if you think you might not like Harry Styles in 2 years.
Right, exactly, like that girl yesterday. So we did all of that, and the result was it was on her to make a decision, and she had the knowledge to make a well-educated, informed decision, and the decision she made was not to do it. And we were prepared to go either way, but inside I was like, please go with this sounds terrible and I don't want one. And we also worked really hard. I remember this very specifically. We worked very hard to explain all this to her without a bias, without trying to front load the negatives, and also push for things like, tattoos. The reason people get them is they are kind of cool, and they're, sometimes it's a great way to sort of brand yourself and say, this is who I am and this represents me. And if it's a little ankle thing or it's your whole back, whatever it is, that's, sometimes that's just how people represent themselves. We tried to do that as best we could, and in the end, I think it worked out pretty well. And she was off that and on to something else. So.
And you know what that back tattoo would look like today?
Oh my Lord, dude, dude! I'm telling you.
Not so good. Not so
Not
good.
so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you both have sort of dabbled in this a little bit. And Brian, for you, did you find it successful, or did you find it like, oh crap, we should have gone with our gut?
See, that's the thing. I'm trying to remember a specific example. I know there were times that we did this, that Tina and I did this and said, nope, we can't helicopter this. We have to let him go. And he has a couple tattoos, Scott, so see where that went.
Yeah, but, that's great. His are cool. I've seen them. They're rad.
These are really cool, yeah. It's really just, I mean, we have to look back now and say, I think we did a pretty good job. Like, they turned out fine. But at the time, it is a scary thing to kind of just say, this is not what I would normally do as a parent. It's not what my instincts would say, and it's not what, it may have even gone against what was done to us as parents. The same decisions were made. And I really wish I could think of a specific example of this, but
it's hard because there's a lot.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's probably happened multiple times. So kind of in summary to what I would recommend for them is, because as the counselor in the room, you're asking, how do I find a counselor for him if he doesn't want to be counseled? I think what's maybe tempting is to make the help you want to give him about pornography. And no one is just one thing. No one is just a drug addict. No one is just a this or that. They are a complex, multifaceted person. Pornography may be a place where he really, it's a place he gets stuck, and it's a place that's not great for him or healthy for him. But that's just one part of who he is. And you're navigating parenting this particular kid in a pretty challenging time on earth and environment and access to stuff that may not be great for him, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe to think in terms of counseling as more of a place for him to be free to say what he really wants and thinks and believes and needs, and his exploring of pornography with, with a counselor that doesn't need him to do one thing or the other for him to be okay. I mean, that's the power of parenting, is half the time our kids are behaving the way we want them to because they want us to like them. They want us to not be disappointed in them, right? The worst thing you can ever say to a kid is, I just am disappointed, right? It freaking crushes their souls, right? Yeah. So don't use that card unless you really have to, everyone. But that is a really, like, you can't divorce the situation from his responding to you. So that would be the reason to get counseling. And it's because you're limited in scope as a parent because you're the parent. And it doesn't have to be about pornography. You don't need to go get an expert at pornography addiction. The kid is 17. It's possible you could have a 17-year-old addicted if they started at 8. Right. And it's unrelenting, et cetera. But more than anything, he's lying to you. He's not being honest with himself. He's, that stuff, there's plenty of good counseling for
Welcome
that.
to 17.
Right, yeah. Exactly. And just have a safe place to say what's really going on. Because I guarantee the kid already knows how you feel about pornography. There's a reason he's lying to you.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Can he process what he thinks, what he needs, what he wants in a safe place, and figure out some of this stuff on his own with the help of a wise person, right? Can be a really valuable thing. So I wouldn't recommend trying to force them to counseling over pornography. I have worked with those people who, as young kids, and typically they're from religious backgrounds where, any pornography at all was taboo. And so it was straight to something's wrong with my child, and it kind of disease-fied. That's not a word. The word. Anyway, the model was essentially, it's all bad, you're bad, something's wrong with you. And if you think the kid has shame now, there's a way to make shame explode. And that's to have a bunch of professionals telling him he has a problem, when maybe he has a problem with lying right now, and he has a problem with hiding himself, and he has a problem with, how to figure out who the hell he is at 17, which is the point of being 17.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if he's missing school, if he's not doing the other normal 17-year-old things because he's too busy with porn, too busy with that, then I mean, I guess I just have, a question. If they if they're imposing what their beliefs of addiction are
Mm-hmm.
on him. And the phrase, getting help from religious leaders worries me a little bit. And maybe it's just my own religious bias that they're imposing a bigger net over this than the normal 17-year-old. I had a Playboy tucked under the mattress in my room, and I turned out okay. But I don't know. I don't know. And I'm sure I lied about it. No, I don't have anything like that in my room. But I don't know. Obviously, without knowing how they're defining addiction, I can't say, oh yeah, he's not addicted.
Well, also every kid is different. I was just telling the chat room about someone I knew who, if he wasn't in front of porn, he'd get the shakes, and he would be completely just non-functional.
Yeah, right.
He'd be the non-functional in a work environment, in a school environment. He just couldn't do anything, and it's all he would think about until he could get back in front of it, and it affected every part of his life. And if that isn't addiction, I don't know what addiction is. Then we need another word. If there's another word, fine.
Definitely the very definition of addiction.
But what Wendy says means there's a lot of wisdom in what Wendy says. This is made for this kid, and everyone's different is the main point here. Mm-hmm. And that's true of drugs too, by the way. Like, some people take one opioid, and that's it. Never going to see them again. They're going to die young, and it's awful. There are other people who can't get addicted even if they tried. I mean, it's just the metabolisms are different. Your brain chemistries are all different. So always keep that in mind. It's never the same for everybody. So there's no blanket way to approach this, which is why I appreciate Brian's point about, religious principles are often blanketed, one size fits all, and it doesn't necessarily fit all. But when Wendy said you have, this made me more about other more concerning things that actually affect his life during the future, things like a tendency to lie and get away with it, or a tendency to lie his way through situations where he can't deal with them, and then building up a good skill of lying can turn into a life of liarship. Those should be as big or bigger concerns in the long run, because this could just be symptomatic of other behavioral stuff that will affect way more than just whether he likes porn or not.
Yeah.
Right. And he doesn't, they're saying, I see some signs of addiction through his behavior and interaction with others. And if it's hiding and lying in order to do a thing that's really fun, that's not addiction.
Mm-hmm. That's normal 17-year-old behavior.
It is. Yeah. And there's another factor here, which is, sort of, most kids when they were 17, before the age of parents have paid attention to some extent, but a lot less than they do now. And so you had some space. You had some space to explore some stuff and figure out a few things. And I think, now there's, we have less children, we have more attention to give. We have, parenting is more about us than the benefit of, the kid sometimes, that, am I doing this right? Or are other people judging me? Or, I feel like a failure, whatever that is. And that's so important to check yourself on. And, I would even suggest some counseling for the parents of like, what's my deal with this? And what's the best way to handle it? I work with mothers whose kids are not doing what they want them to do. And these are mainly people in sort of variations of religious backgrounds where, the sort of formula is to follow these things. And then when your kids do that, then you're a good mom. And what they all seem to fail to recognize is the relationship between you and the child is actually what matters. And it can get lost in your ego about parenting. Now, at the core, everyone really wants their kid to do well and be happy. Yeah. And if you believe you've got the formula and your kid's not doing that formula, then, there's a reason this happens. It's not to say parents are stupid. It's that they want so badly for their kid to be okay. But in that effort, I think at times there is a missing of the point, which is that your actual connection with your child matters. And so the real shame here that will get developed is going to be that he disappoints you. He's hiding himself and lying to you, because he doesn't want to disappoint you. He already knows what you think. And not that you're going to change what you think, but is there a way to address the relationship in a way that really can be healthier And I think the answer is yes to that. Is it easy? No. And does it relate to opposite day? Absolutely. Because stuff that feels like, I mean, and this is maybe a general way to say this, if you keep getting the same results by doing the same things that work for your 15-year-old or just come naturally to you, or the things you've been told your whole life about how this should be or what these things mean, and the results are the same. The kid keeps lying, he keeps sneaking, he behaves weird, all these things that are concerning to you. Then the question is not, wow, it's just this kid's problem. Right. The first place to start is you. And that is the hardest place to start because no one actually wants to look at themselves when it seems like it's someone else's problem.
And it's not saying that the problem is on the parents. And I want to make sure that that the stuff I was saying earlier isn't me saying, well, the problem's not the kid, the problem's the parents. I definitely am not saying that. And I don't know, since there are fewer details in this thing. Yeah. Me giving my opinion the way I was when I was 17 is not exact. It's not the same because every kid is different.
That's when I threw that frozen loaf of bread at my mom when I was 17.
Right. God, thank God it wasn't like that.
Yeah. Imagine me throwing a loaf of bread at my mom now at 80. That'd be insane. But
you'd go to jail, dude. That'd be sweet.
That'd be awful. Is what that would be.
But let me say this. So Brian's not blaming the parents, but I am. And I'm doing it hopefully in a motivating way to have you check yourself first. We are so bad. Like, what's the common theme between bad breath and poop? You don't think yours smell. Yeah. Everyone else's smells, but yours don't. Yeah. Right. Like, we have something in our brains that won't let us realize the full reality of the stuff we bring to a situation that is negative. It's so we all can sort of still like ourselves. Like, it's a protective response. Yeah. So you're really good at this with this other kid. So why would you ever wonder if you're not doing it right with this other kid? And potentially they are. And I'm saying this to motivate you to check there first before you run to get this kid into addiction counseling, right? That you check with you about how to work with this kid who's so different from the other one because it's triggering some of your stuff, right? I mean, and this sort of generalizes to anybody. If you feel like I keep having the same thing happen, it kind of creates a rut, or I repeat myself over and over, or, oh, here's the same kind of friendship I'm losing again, or getting fired from another job. It's a really valuable exercise to sort of make a list of all the things that you always do. And then apply this opposite rule. So for example, I make notes everywhere. Like, I have 80 in front of me, 6 pieces of paper of various and sundry origins, like Post-its and nothing's toilet paper, but it might as well be all over, with all the stuff I need to do, a thought that pops in my head. Like, I always do this. I hate it. I hate that it makes me less organized. There's always a problem with it. So I got to do something different. Well, the first thing I need to do is stop writing on little pieces of paper, maybe have one place I put it. That sounds stupid and like organizational dumb, but it's that basic that sometimes when we can't quite figure out why things keep happening to us, it's so easy to blame someone else, so easy to see with someone else's problem, but to recognize, like, hold on, I actually take steps A through Z predictably over and over and over. And somewhere in there, I got to stop and do something that's different. Yeah. Because these 2 kids, it is clear to me, one is just very different from the other. And that's always true. But, the same tactic for both is not going to work. It's not working. You're seeing it not work. But the more you try to do the same version of parenting or the same trajectory, you're going to create shame and lots of things. So I actually, weirdly, and I can't remember the name of it, helped co-author a book about this for religious groups, sort of specifically.
You don't remember the name of the book? That's hilarious.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. I forgot I even wrote it till a year ago. Someone's like, remember you wrote a book on that? I'm like, no, I didn't. Oh, wait, I kind of did. Anyway, so I have their email, so I'll just send it to them. I can't vouch for its quality anymore. It's been a long time. But kind of the idea of sort of like, a religious leader is going to say a particular set of things, and it depends on what religion and what views they take on pornography, or, and sometimes that can be helpful, but so often it just adds more and more to the shame. You're doing more of the same style of parenting. You're just having someone else do it for you. Yeah.
Someone else in authority popping in with their thing.
Right. And you're desperate. So you're like, anybody else help us. So this, person comes along and says the same thing you say, and the kid just maybe hears it and that's okay. But then there's still plenty of shame. So is there a version of flipping this on its head that has more to do with moving towards each other as, children and parents, the actual connection mattering, the lying being addressed, some of that stuff. And, obviously you need to get help with it. And I'm not saying a religious leader is a bad choice, but sometimes it is. And so, to really think it through is pretty valuable.
Yeah. The only thing I would add to that is I firmly believe this now. On the other side of raising these kids of mine, with all their complications, differences, issues through life, all the stuff, the more you try to force a template on your kid or kids, the less likely it will happen. Mm-hmm. In other words, and this isn't a trick, but I found that by not trying to force the template, by treating each one of them as wholly different and approaching every situation with that knowledge and knowing, just knowing your kid as thoroughly as possible, depending on which one is which, and not applying that template, that they actually ended up adhering to the template in the long run anyway. And I think
it's a family template, and they see that.
And I think I tried really hard and do not force it on them, and it just naturally happened that way because they want to be a part of this unit, and that's so much harder in the moment than trying to force the template. Forcing the template's easy. You'll do this or you're out of here. I mean, it's too simple of a thing. Instead, it's like, this one feels this way about tattoos. This one feels this way about dating. This one feels this way about whatever hard thing they're going through in adolescence, or whether it's bullying, or one of your kids is a vegetarian, one of them loves meat. Like, whatever small to large thing it may be, trying to force the template is the mistake, I believe. Mm-hmm. Now, some may have a good reason to argue with me, but it felt like my kids ended up in the idealized template I had for them anyway, the one I had in my head that I was like, oh, I hope they turn out like this. They did, but I didn't have to make them put it on. They put it on themselves. And I think there's an opportunity for this person and these two kids here to find out what that is. It's hard, and I totally get the desire. All parents do. We get the desire to force it, but you can't. I don't think you can.
Well, you can, and then you're punished, and the payment for that is ultimately a disconnected relationship over the long run. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sometimes you don't like your kid. Like, who they really are is annoying,
right.
Or and you're having to deal with all your own feelings, and that is the rub, everybody, in marriages, in any kind of romantic relationships, in parent-child relationships, in coworker relationships. We're all doing the best we can, but the only way any of this gets better for anyone is if you, me, whoever's listening, deals with your own garbage. Take your own garbage out is really the...
And know that your garbage stinks, too. So I'm sure on
Opposite Day, they were not expecting this as a response, I think.
No, they weren't. Well, no, that's good. It's in keeping with
I'm
with
never
Opposite
listening to this show again.
Just remember that at the end of Iron Giant, we learned a lesson. Okay, this is an important movie. He said, you don't have to be a gun. You can be anything you want to be. You choose. You choose to not be a gun. Well, now, there's a subtle anti-gun thing in there. But the robot was, destroying everything. And the little boy was like, no, you don't have to be any of those things. You can be who you choose to be. Sometimes it's hard to just say to our kids, your choice. This is your choice. Here's what I know, but this is your choice. That's hard. But when you do it, it pays off. My experience only, can't speak for everybody. Somebody out there probably said, son, well, it's up to you what you want to do. And he says, see ya, Dad, and went and killed 5 people in Reno. I don't know. Like, I don't want to be the end-all, be-all example of this, but I'm just telling you, it helped a lot.
There would have to be something that took place parenting-wise before that for the kid to say, that's my freedom. That's exactly what I been wanting to do this whole time.
Yeah, exactly. So just don't be as afraid as you think you might be to just open the gate a little and let the dinosaur wander around the pen. It's fine. That's my other metaphor.
Many metaphors.
Let your daughter be a clever girl.
Yeah. You can be Chris Pratt and those velociraptors. Trust him. So, move him around.
There's also one thought here. I think this is what I forget, is that this is a blip in the radar of their life. They are not perpetually this. And to have this be the moment where you're condemned as a addict or a problem or a bad person when you're 17. I mean, I'm trying to think of various stages of my life. If it was a snapshot and that was my brand. Oh my gosh.
Right.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's hard. We got to give space for time to pass too. And I get it. At the same time, you're like, but then if we don't pay attention, then he'll be up. I get that. The fear is a powerful motivator to do dumb stuff. So that's partly what we're fighting is, love is bigger than fear. Love, love, love. Here we go.
Well, as a famous former President John F. Kennedy once said, nope, that wasn't him. Who says
not what your children can do for you?
No,
what you can do for your children.
No,
Perfect.
We have nothing to fear but fear itself. Oh, it's LBJ.
It's true.
Yes.
All right. I got my history. I'm good. All right. Well, this has all been good. Fantastic stuff. Well, great Aunt Wendy. Anything else happening that you want people to know about? You got anything to push?
Yes. Did you have a certain sponsor on the show today?
Oh, you know what? We're going to do it right now. Oh, I'm glad you said this. I've been so wound up and jacked up with everything going on that I kind of blew it. But here it is. You ready for this?
Yeah, go.
74% of people live paycheck to paycheck. 64% of people can't cover $1,000 emergency bills without going further into debt. Do these statistics describe you? So there's a better way to live. Chris is a financial coach specializing in helping people manage their finances and get control of their future. For more information, visit themoneymentor.net. New clients receive a free introductory session and mention this ad to receive 50% off your next session. That's themoneymentor.net. There you go. I'm supposed to do these on Thursdays. We have to do them every Thursday. Yeah.
He's awesome. I know him. Go. If that relates to you at all, do it. He will help you. He's amazing. I have every client ever has a problem. Like I think all humans have a problem with this. And so it's so nice to have Chris as a resource that I can send people to work out their financial stuff, because it is always, there's not a happy marriage that out there without some financial stuff, and all miserable marriages have financial stuff. So it really is powerful stuff. So yeah.
All right. That's awesome. I'm glad you reminded me, because I've been so wrapped up in this kid thing that I completely forgot to do it, and I would have felt terrible. So themoneymentor.net, everybody. There's the website. You're looking at it now. Seems like a good idea. Get your finances in order, damn it. Money's my biggest stress. I hate money. Money sucks.
There we go. Call Chris.
So many people's
I hate it.
Stresses.
Money is poop. Poop money. All right. Well, fantastic. Wendy Dunford on Instagram, therapythursdays.com if you want to go leave a comment there and check out what she's got going. Wendy, it's been fabulous talking to you. I just sent you a bunch of pictures, so go check those out and have a fantastic week.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Brian, we have an email for you here.
For me?
Yeah. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This is going to be intense. This happens every time I do anything like this either, by the way.
I know, yeah.
It's like, I bought a thing for my back to help me have better posture. Scott, do not wear that even once. You're going to, there's always somebody. So here it is. This is from Will, who says, he sent this email to themorningstream@gmail.com, or he may have used the site, I'm not sure. But anyway, says, I'm sure you've heard this already since talking about it on the show, but CrossFit is really dangerous, he put in caps.
In caps, yeah.
There's a huge lack of commonly known exercise logic in a lot of what they do. Tell Brian to be very careful. You only have to do a 2-day course to be a CrossFit coach or open a CrossFit gym. Looking out for you guys. I have a gym in San Antonio, Texas. Been here for 10 years. We require at least 10 years of experience to get into the door as a coach. Lately, I see most injured CrossFit people that have had have rehab on their joints and back to health. On their joints back to health.
That he has to rehab personally.
Yes. Then start real exercise. I want my podcasters healthy and uninjured, Will.
Aw. Well, thank you, Will.
Yeah.
I think you're right on the money. We had a neighbor of ours on the other side of Crazy Neighbors who got big into CrossFit, and then the dad pulled a muscle off of his bone, or like separated his muscle from his bone in his arm. Just watching the cringe, exactly. That's what we all felt like. So, yeah, it's
that's horrendous.
It is horrendous. So, yes, it is something that I'm aware of, and the person who's doing it's somebody that I know and trust, and certainly is not looking to wreck me with his thing. He really just wanted me to come play test it as someone who's kind of a fan of the geeky world and D&D and that sort of thing. So, but I do appreciate that, Will, and I will continue to keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's freaking hardcore, man. Just insane. All right. Yeah, that just gives me the big fat willies. Like, everything about that is just...
Yeah.
I can't deal with it. All right. Well, there you go. There's an email that we read. And you can send your own emails into the show, themorningstream@gmail.com. You can also follow us on the Twitter. Brian's at Coverville. I'm at Scott Johnson, at Morning Stream for the show. There are upcoming programs this weekend, podcasting programs. You can check out our Dirty Dozen, not a Western, coverage of Film Sack tomorrow. And
not tomorrow, you can't, because we're not recording it until Saturday.
Oh yeah, Saturday. Duh.
They'll hear that Monday or whenever Sunday whenever you upload it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm all messed up on days.
But you got a Skim tonight, right?
Yeah, Skim tonight. New Instance tomorrow, and what else?
New America's Next Top Podcaster. If you are a Kickstarter backer, you're getting the next episode today, and actually you've already gotten the 3 submissions today. If you're not, then you're going to get the 3 submissions today, and you'll get the new episode tomorrow.
Yeah, I would say this is...
And there'll be a little bit more disparity between the two, but I want to get stuff out because I want stuff to kind of line up a little closer for episode 12 when we have voting.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, there will be a TMS PM tomorrow.
Oh yeah, right.
3:30 Mountain. So that's
there will be PM.
That's right. Today at noon, my thing. What else? That's it. That's a big scatter shot of what's happening. If you like TMS, if you enjoy it here, and you have not yet considered doing this, head on over to patreon.com/TMS and throw us a little buck here and there. It helps a lot. It's literally the fuel for the show. That's what we run on. So thank you guys so much for that. And again, if you haven't done it before, it's patreon.com/TMS. For everything else, check out frogpants.com/TMS. As is tradition, we will now leave, but with a song. Brian?
Leave but with a song.
Leave but with a song.
Please, no touching butts with a song. Chrissy, a.k.a. Magic Bean, wrote in and said, "Hello, Scott and Brian. My birthday is on Saturday." This was last Saturday. "And I'm turning 42. This year for my birthday, I wanted to know if you guys would play a song for my husband, David, a.k.a. Texas Dews." In the chat. He's going through some hard times right now health-wise due to complications of a surgery that he had in December last year that had him in ICU for several weeks. He's home now, and I just want him to know that we will get through this and that he is my love and my life. I leave it to you to find something that lets him know. Thank you both for always making my day brighter. Now, I try to find something that wasn't slow and sappy. Like I listened to about a dozen covers of Lean on Me by Bill Withers, and the only one that came close to being kind of upbeat was the Club Nouveau version that we all remember from 1987.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not playing that one.
Yeah, hate that one.
And so I thought of other things like I'll Be There For You by the Rembrandts and other things like that. And I decided on this one. Now, it is a remix as opposed to a cover, but the message is absolutely 100% there. And I remember this being just such a brilliant video. The song is by the masters of the cool video, OK Go. This came out in 2010 on an EP of remixes of their songs. It's a cover remix. It's a remix. Come on, let's not even try and sugarcoat it. It's a remix by Rah Rah Riot of This Too Shall Pass. And Magic Bean's in the chat room. Good.
Oh.
I hope
nice.
I hope David likes this. This Too Shall Pass by OK Go.
All right, that's going to do it. We'll see you guys for PM tomorrow. Goodbye. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com. Oh, I had a thing to play. Crap. Here. No, that's not it. Gosh dang it. I had it all lined up.
Aww.
Hold on. Let me find it again. Here you go.
My scruff.